Hi, I'm Mark Witt from breadtechnique.com. I want to talk to you today about something I think you'll find interesting, and that is making safe herbed olive oil at home. When you enjoy a meal at a good Italian restaurant, you're usually served a plate of grated cheese with some herbed olive oil to dip your fresh bread in. This same ingredient is a great addition to mini bread doughs as a topping for focaccia or in pizza. You can also use it on salads, as a sautéing agent for vegetables, even to scramble eggs. Herbs and oil are tasty together, but if not made correctly, this condiment can become a home for pathogens which can cause foodborne illness. Herbs and garlic are products of the earth. They are grown outside in soil. The soil has to be rich in nutrients and becomes a great place for bacteria and mold to grow. There are recipes online that advise steeping herbs in room temperature olive oil for about 2 weeks on your windowsill or on your counter. But to produce safe herbed oil, we have to kill any bacteria and mold that may be on the leaves. To do this, we will use heat carefully regulated to make the oil safe, especially when applied to salads. Herbs grown indoors and on a windowsill may have less contaminants than those grown outside. Even so, you should assume that the leaves may be contaminated. If you follow this process, you can destroy these contaminants. Start with fresh herbs. Grow your own if possible on your patio, in your garden, or on your windowsill. If you can't grow your own herbs, it's a good idea to get them at the grocery store in small pots. You'll find growing basil, rosemary, thyme, oregano, and other herbs ready to take home. These plants can be kept alive on your windowsill for weeks or months with good light and an occasional watering. In the spring and early summer, you'll also find these herbs available at a greenhouse or a gardening center. Next best to growing herbs are the small plastic containers you might find in your produce section. If the leaves are wilted, ask the produce manager to find some fresher stock for you in the back. The varieties of herbs that you use is up to you. But it's easy to overdo rosemary and get a medicinal flavor, so keep rosemary to a minimum. It's hard, on the other hand, to overemphasize basil. Basil has a gentle and inviting flavor. Here's the gear you'll need. You'll need a saucepan with at least double the capacity of the oil that you will produce. A container for the finished oil, and this can be the glass container the olive oil came in, or it may be a decorative one. A mezzaluna or a chef's knife for chopping the herbs. A funnel. A paper coffee filter. A mesh strainer, a cutting board, a salad spinner, and you'll need a thermometer for making sure you're getting just the right temperatures. Start by removing the leaves from the stems and placing them in a bowl for washing. As you do this, inspect the leaves for insect cases and soil. And while soil can be washed away, any leaves with visible insect eggs or insect damage should be discarded. After washing, place the herbs in a salad spinner and give them a good drying. Next, place the herbs on a paper towel and cover them with another paper towel to blot them dry. If you have the time, let the herbs air dry on a cutting board for an hour or so. A little moisture is not a big problem, but whatever moisture remains can cause bacteria and mold to grow. Depending on what your plans are for the herb pieces, you can do one of two things. If you are making focaccia soon, or want to use the herbs in a marinara, chop them with a mezzaluna or a knife. If you have no use for the herb pieces after they've been steeped, you can simply bruise them with a pestle or a wooden muddler. It's a good idea to make only the amount of herbed oil you will use over the next 2 to 4 weeks. A practical amount may be the olive oil in the traditional glass bottle. These come in 8, 12 and 16-ounce sizes. Heat the oil in a saucepan. Have a thermometer ready to check it off in. If you will be adding garlic, heat the oil to 220 degrees and then turn off the heat. Add the chopped garlic. If you're using garlic from a jar, make sure it's well drained and patted dry. The garlic will sizzle a little bit, but it shouldn't turn brown. Let the temperature drop to 180 degrees. Add all of your chopped or bruised herbs and let the temperature drop to 160. When the temperature reaches 160, heat the oil gently back to 180 degrees on low. The herbs may sizzle a little around the edges as you reach 180, but that's okay. Repeat this process 2 more times. With this much exposure to heat, the pathogens should have all been destroyed. Let the oil cool to about 110 degrees on the stovetop. While the pan is cooling, prepare the receiving container and funnel. Good containers can be found at most apartment and home decor stores. There are decorated glass bottles and sturdy steel cans. I have 2 steel olive oil cans in my kitchen. One has the top painted green to indicate that it has herbed oil in it. Place the funnel in the container. Place a coffee filter in the funnel. The top of the funnel should be about the width of the basket size coffee filter. Place a mesh strainer designed for kitchen sink use in the funnel top too. This will hold back pieces of herb which could easily clog the coffee filter. Pour in the herbed oil, making sure not to overflow the funnel. The oil flow will slow as the pores in the coffee filter become clogged with sediment. The oil may be slightly cloudy at first. This is remaining sediment too small for the paper filter. As the oil sets for a day or so, it will settle out and become clear. You can decant this clear oil carefully and gently into another container, if you prefer. Making herb oil takes some planning. You need to have good olive oil on hand, fresh herbs, and about an hour to commit to making it. And I'm sure you'll find it's worth the effort. Be sure and visit my website, breadtechnique.com, for additional bread baking tips, free recipes, and samples of instructional videos. Thank you. I'm Mark Witt.